backend. So basically all the routes slash users, get user by id, then update user by id, delete user by id, then add user to the user database. And we also saw we had one entry in our user database, pawan@gmail.com. And if we look at the front end app, we created the setup. So if we enter the name and email and click to save to db, it was printing in console. But now we will add this record to our database by using our backend. So what we need to do to add in user database, user table. So we will make post request to slash user route, and we will pass name and email and other things. I mean, inserting it to database, this function will handle it. So let's go to our front end app. So in here, app.js. Okay, so this is the code we are going to write. So I will just explain it in a minute. Okay. So this is the fetch JavaScript page. With the help of this fetch function, we can make HTTP request. Okay, we will make request to http://localhost:3005/user, this user route. Now the method will be post method, and we will set headers to content type application JSON. And in body, we will send two things, name and email. Now if you look at the input, so previously we created this front end, right? So default value is name and email. So those both two are states, and on change, on the input on change, we will update the state value also, and that the same value we will pass in here, like in body. So the thing we are doing here, like JSON string y, it will convert that object into JSON, and then we will send it, right? Okay, so basically it is like const data equal to name and email, and then we can just send the data here only, right? This is also fine structured. Okay, so after sending, we will just console log the data whatever we receive from our response here, right? Like user added and its id. Yeah. Okay, now let's make the request from our front end, right? So I will type akash@gmail.com. yeah, and click on save to db. Okay, now it is throwing that course error. Okay, yeah, this is common thing because we are trying to make requests from 3000 to 3005 route, right? So both routes are different. So we will need to set up the course setup in our backend. So go to your backend index.js, and in your backend terminal, like backend project, yep, and we need to install one package, course, npm icourse. So npm install course, then scroll up. So we need to add that package, const course, this one, const course require course, and then we will use it, app.use. Yeah, with this we can make cross origin request also. Yeah, so and we will restart our server, npm run dev. Okay, we restarted our server. There is no need to restart front end here, we can just refresh. Yeah, I will close this and let's try again, akash@gmail.com. Okay, we can see like message user added. If I go to database and click on user, we can see like one entry is inserted here, user Akash, right? So that's how we can insert the user via React front end using our Node and MySQL backend. Yes, so we already created route, we just written this function, modified this function. So earlier it was like this, console log and then data whatever we have received. Yep. So whenever someone submits this form, the form handler function will execute, and that form handler, in the form handler we will get two states, name and email, which are like control state, right? Whenever someone modifies it, that state value is also changed. And then after that we return this fetch function. With the fetch function we will pass the data value which we receive from the form in the backend. Yep. And then on success we'll print the response, like it is done or not. Yep. Okay, now let's since we have two entries in our database, right? Now what we should do, let's write some code to display those entries on the right side. Okay, now for that what I will do, on one side I have this form, right? I will just create another div here. Okay, for some reason the extension is not working. Let's just create it manually. Yeah, users, right? And this also I will write division. Okay, so if I refresh users, okay, now we have form and division at top level, right? Okay, for this division let's write some styles. I will just write the inline styles for now. Yeah, we will make use of class and everything in app.css. That is also fine. It is up to you. Okay, let's write that way. This is more robust, I guess. Class name, we will write parent, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, parent is fine. Then class parent. Here I will just simply display plex. That is fine. I just want to divide it. Okay, this is making too obvious. Let's write some display grid and divide the column in 50-50. One fraction also works, like same width basically. Okay, we will not focus too much on CSS because this is a CRUD app course, right? Yeah. Now in users, right? So first we need to fetch the users from the backend, right? We have two users in user table, right? So we will write code for that. So I will start by defining one function. Before all this, let's select everything and then format document, maybe. Yeah, this will look nice, more readable. Okay, then we will use effect hook. So this is used to make the side effects in the app. Now side effects, I mean, we are making request to backend, right? So that is some sort of modification. We are making side effects, right? So use effect that lets you do that. Okay, and I'm passing here comma and this arrow also. I mean blank square brackets. It means that it will execute only once, right? So if I don't do this, it whatever I have written here, it will execute every time this component renders, right? So we want to execute only once because we want to get the user's data only when the app loads, right? Now I will start by defining fetch and then this one. Okay, so we will make fetch request to this route /users, but let me check in the backend that this works, right? So if we go to backend, we have written this right route, app/get/users, and which will return all the users data, right? In result. Okay, so it means it will work. So 3005/users, we will get the data. Let's just print the data in console. Yep. So if I go to web browser, let's close it. See, it is already here. See, we can see like there are two entries which are coming from the DB, right? So what we need to do, we need to set this data to one of the states. So I will just create new state here, const users comma set users, and by default it will be a blank array, right? And then in here, once we get the data, we will set users with the data, right? So our users array will be updated using this set users. Now to print those user list, I will just print it in raw manner. Yeah. So what I will do here, I will just maybe JSON dot stringify users. Yeah. So we can see here, like in very dummy manner, right? We are getting the data. Yeah. Okay. Now we know that we are getting data in user, so we can do pretty simple trick, I guess. Yep. So what we can do is, map function. So we will write for loop. So mapping, we will do mapping of this users array. So and we will get each user, then we will write division, and h3, in h3 we will write name and then email. Okay. So let me just type this out. Maybe auto generated thing is not good, I guess. Let me close this. How to disable completions. Okay, now it is disabled. Yeah, that's fine. Let's write it from scratch. That will be much more helpful, I guess. Yeah. So we know that we are getting users in users. Yep. Then map. So we are creating, like we are looping through array. We will get each user. Then in here we will write the callback function. Yeah. And for each user we will create a division. And inside that we know that each user has two properties, user.name and email. Yeah. Then we will type username. If I save it, then I can get like Pawan and Akash. Let's make it less weird, I guess. User.id is also, I think we have ID. Yeah, we have ID. Then let's save it. Yeah, 1, 2 and then Pawan. Yep. We can also print email. So dash user.email. Let's save. See, we are getting the data now, like Pawan, Akash here. Let's add third entry, Nilesh. Okay, name is Nilesh. Yeah. gmail.com. Let's save to DB. Okay, user is added. Let's refresh. We are getting the third entry also, like Nilesh and Nilesh at gmail.com. But you can see, like I have to save and then refresh. It doesn't get updated automatically. So what you need to do is, when you submit the form, right? So on submit here, form handler here. So you also need to modify the, like this users array. So if you modify this state, it will update that this array also, right? So what you need to do in data, right? So I guess you can. So for that you need to first return. So when you add user to DB, right, post user, you need to return the user also, like data also, and then you will see like the data is modified, right? Or I guess what else you can do is, let's do one thing. When we add the data, let's modify the set users. Let's modify the one flag. Let's create one temporary flag, right? Const flag. So instead of if you don't want to return the user from the result, right? So let's try this trick. Set flag. So by default it will be a false. Use state. Okay. Then what I will do, when someone adds the data in DB, so in form handler, and it is successful, then I will set this flag to true. It means that data is modified, like flag will change. By default flag value was false, right? So now we will track this data here. So use effect. So what this will do, whenever the flag value is changed, it will refetch this and like reassign the set users array, right? So if I save this now and let's close this, what is this warning? Each child is, this should be unique key. Okay, so in your for loop right here map, so it is asking that give it some key value. So we have unique key value user id, user.id. Let's save this and let's refresh, make sure it doesn't. Okay, let's nice. What should I add now here? Let's add a bottle. I don't have too many parents. Okay, bottle at gmail.com. Let's save. See how it is automatically modified. Like if you add entry, it is added here also. Why? Because what will happen on load, it will by default the flag value will be false, right? Then we perform the addition, form handler function will execute, this will send data to backend. Then on success, we are changing this flag, right? So flag value is changed, and if you look at the use effect, so and in here we in dependency we have passed the flag. Now what does this mean is, like whenever the flag value will change, it will it will run this function again and again, like whenever the flag value is changed, right? So that's how you can do. Let's try one another, like bottle2, like save to db. Okay, now you can see the problem, right? Now it did not add here. Now that is simply because like the whenever we added, now the flag value initially was false, then we set it true. Now the flag value is true for the first entry. Now for second entry we set the flag value to true again, but if you look at here, the previous value was true and this for second entry is also true, but it did not change, right, basically. So that's why it did not like modify it, right? So in here, to fix this bug, what we need to do is in set flag, right, we need to get the previous state. The previous state is flag. So basically what I'm trying to say is previous state, and here so I guess that's how you write, like yep, I guess that's how you do it, like previous state and then you pass the value. I guess you don't need to type it 2 times. Yeah, 1 time should be fine. Yep, because you're already calling it here, right, at first. There is no need to type it again. Okay, let's save this. So what we are saying basically is on first iteration it will be false, right? Then once we add entry, it will check the previous entry which is false, then it will like revert it. So false opposite it true. Yeah, now when we add second entry, then it will check like previous entry was true, like we made it true, right, in first iteration. For second entry it will be true, so opposite of true it will be false. See, the flag value changed, so it will keep on changing, so it will like keep on rerunning for each entry, right? If I save this now and go here, let's refresh all these. Let's type laptop at gmail.com, save to db. Okay, it modified. Then laptop 2 and then laptop 2, save to db. See again, like because of our logic, it like does it work, like it does its work, right? So if I enter it again, the flag will change again and it will add into here laptop 3. Yes, so yeah, let's format all the code, format document. Yes, let's go at the top. So we added the entry, we get all users here. Now what do we need to do is let's try deleting our user. So in our front end, sorry, backend app, we also have like delete user route, right? So we need to send the delete request and to this route, and it will delete the user. So in front end we need to create some sort of UI, right, to delete it. So we will here add x button type thing. So whenever someone clicks on it, that button, we will make the request to backend and delete the entry. So here I will write some dummy UI, maybe button, and here x as a sign of delete. Oh my god, that looks very big. That's fine. Okay, now so I will add on click, and then delete handler should be a good name, I guess. Yeah, delete handler. Okay, we have not yet written this function. Let's write that function delete handler. Yep. And for now, like, to see if it is even working, right? Okay, in backend, to delete it we need to pass the id, and the id is, I guess, user id, right? Okay, so what we will do, we have the user id here, so I will copy this thing and in here. So before calling it, if you need to pass the parameter, you need to call it as this format and pass the user id in delete handler function, right? So in here we will receive the user id, right? User id, that's fine, user id. Yeah, for now let's just alert it to see if it is even working or not. Save it, let's click on it. See, I'm getting 2. Let's click on 6. Yeah, 6. Let's click on 8. Okay, 8, it is working.